because the original budget presented to the delegates failed. Not by much, but enough. Before you on the screen, I will be showing some slides showing my calculations, where all the numbers come from, and also where I have made changes in the budget. Right now, the revised budget calls for a $2 reduction and 40 cents from last year's budget. I have handouts before you showing all of the details for the presentation of the summary page. If anybody has any question to go over the detail, I would be happy to answer the question. Are there any questions? Please come to the mic.
I just want to ask one question, Howard.
Hello? Sorry. Okay. Want to ask one question? Under security, 7,300, third one down on your sheet.
Yeah.
It has fuel, 20,000. What is the fuel for?
The gasoline for the rover.
For the rover. I was under... That doesn't move. I was under the impression when we signed the security contract, we were paying the monthly rental of the cars, but we were not going to be charged for the fuel. The fuel was going to be paid by the company. That was one of the things in the contract.
Thank you.
In terms of revenues, had a revenue stream of $120,000.
That was the budget.
Minus the expenses, of course.
That was the budget number.
Okay. Now, let's move over to this coming year, starting in April 1st, for investigations, which has a line across it and no money.
That is correct.
All right. Now, can you please explain why we are not anticipating any income from investigations this year? And then maybe also explain what allocations means.
First answer to your question about the income side.
Right.
There was an accounting change in 2014 wherein we took the previously recorded income and expenses from the fees collected for the investigations and reversed them out and created a reserve. As of the end of the year, we had approximately $52,000 in reserves that we will utilize going forward for settling some of these OEO lawsuits that we've expressed.
Okay, well, 2015, our anticipated revenue stream.
We shall see.
So you, all right, good. I'm glad you gave that answer. You can tell us that our cash surplus return to owners is anticipated to be $400,000.
That is correct.
But you can't anticipate what the investigations revenue stream would be this year. How are you able to do one and not be able to do the other?
Creative magic. We have no accounting for income from investigations by policy. And I've established the policy. We are creating a reserve, and it will be reviewed at the end of the year as to how it will be treated. With regards to the $400,000, if you looked at the financial statements that were distributed for the last delegates meeting, you will see that the revenues over expenses for the year 2014 was approximately $400,000, subject to the audit, which we expect to be completed by the end of the year.
Right, as was the $120,000 for investigations.
The $120,000 rental was a budgeted number.
Right, okay,
Right.
I got you. But there's no budgeted number under, well, I'm not even talking about budgeted number, I'm talking about anticipated income, revenue stream from investigations. You just have no projection whatsoever.
That is correct.
This would be a first.
Well, I told you, there was an accounting change. We are not recognizing income from investigations, and we are not recognizing the expense from investigations until sometime.
All right, I'll have to accept that. And what choice do I have? Could you kindly explain just above it what allocations mean To me, allocations is usually money that's put out, but it's under revenue.
I couldn't figure that one out, so I didn't use it any longer.
At least you're being very honest. I mean, I can appreciate that. I'm not getting any answers, but you're being honest.
Could you please introduce the board at the table?
Thank you, Howard.
Because people don't know who they are.
The members of the Finance Committee are Ed Black, Gene Comas to my left, Herb Finkelstein to my right, and the famous Jack Adams further down the table. Any additional comments, questions with regards to the detail and support of the summary page of the budget?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ed Grossman, for those who don't know me. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ed Grossman, for those of you who don't know me. I have quite a few questions here, but and the first one I want to address is related to a remark that Howard just made. In the past, this organization used an accounting method which our auditors commented on in each and every audit, which is fund accounting. It appears we're no longer using it. At a prior meeting, Howard asked and got a vote to vote on a revenue rule. That revenue ruling is here, 70-604. And here's one of the questions. Howard, at the meeting that you asked for this revenue ruling, I asked you, what period does that count for? And you answered, all the periods it wasn't done for that it should have been done. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. According to the revenue ruling, plus all the other rulings that attribute to that, which is stated here, that ruling should have been, that filing should have been made in a timely fashion. 2014 would be a timely fashion for 2014. However, that ruling, according to Howard, wasn't done in 2013. Now in 2013, and those of you who attended my last meeting, I handed out an excerpt from the audited report of 2013. When Howard stated he found $680,000. Well, that wasn't a hard find, because anybody who read the audited report saw the $680,000. And it clearly states, and the word they used was assigned funds. That money was assigned in 2013 and has nothing to do with the 2014 budget. So any application to 2015 is incorrect. That's not me, that's the Revenue Service. That's one. Number two, from what I see, we're making changes to our accounting procedure that were not done before, because the audited report, if any of you have gotten it, clearly states our method of accounting, and that is fund accounting. Those of you who got messages from your CAMs or managers couldn't figure it out. What we have here is an accounting change, and I don't see the accountant's report saying that they concur or agree with the accounting change. Did we make an accounting change?
Yes.
Okay. And how was that accomplished?
With the stroke of a pen, Ed.
Okay, and did you get an agreement from the auditors that as to the nature and change of our accounting?
Yes.
Do you have a copy of it?
It was verbal, and you will see the audited report at the end of March.
We're looking to find out now, not at the end of March. We're voting on a budget.
The budget has nothing to do with the accounting change.
It certainly does, because I'd like to go through item by item on your proposed budget where you increased arbitrarily various amounts, and I can tell you one that I have confirmed. And Mr. Israel said the reason insurance went up is because of the errors and omissions policy. Well, I have from Tony Salerno an agreed actual amount for insurance, for instance. You had a line item, I had of $40,000, then you had various $3,000 items. According to Tony, in writing, the total amount that we're paying for this period is $32,000 and change. Now, that's another stroke of the pen creative. I'm now going to address another line item which is significant.
Excuse me, Ed, I'd like to make a correction. The number that I received from Tony Salerno for the insurance was $31,514. The current budget that I'm proposing and presenting to you today has an insurance line item of $32,000 due to rounding, okay? So you want to continue this diatribe.
No, this is not a diatribe.
You passed your 5-minute limit, Ed.
I didn't hear a 5-minute limit before.
Okay, well, I'll give you 2 more minutes.
Thank you, but no thank you. I would appreciate you all coming to my meeting on the 27th at 3 o'clock, where we will review the budget entirely.
Thank you, Ed.
Good morning.
Hi, Dorothy.
Good morning, Howard.
Excuse me. Excuse me, I've just been corrected on something else. Channel 63 is recording this meeting, as is Mr. Grossman. Sorry for that omission. What young man?
Neil
Neil Moore. There's a gentleman there with a pink camera. I don't know who he is. If you'd like to introduce yourself, sir.
My name is Neil Moore, and I've been requested to record this meeting by Mr. Grossman.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Dorothy.
Okay. I'm sure Howard and everybody else knows who I am. I have not had a chance to look through this. It would have been nice if we would have had it ahead of time to discuss and look at all the details and make the comparisons.
Excuse me. I hear you, but I'd just like to make a comment, Dorothy. All of this detail was presented in a similar format in August and September of 2014. The fact that you did not have a copy of it is not my
This
fault.
report was prepared then.
No, the
This
original.
report that I'm looking at says January 16th.
That is correct. That's what
Okay,
was
so
printed
this is what we're going to work with, Howard.
today, right?
Okay, my time is limited, you said. Laundry, we just bought all brand-new machines. We bought 8 brand-new machines. We refurbished the whole laundry facility. We determined at the time that 8 machines would be sufficient. Now you want to spend $4,600 for new machines, or additional, or whatever. What is the anticipated revenue for the laundry? It has lost money every year, for the last I don't know how many years. So why are we having people put more money into the laundry? That's a loss leader for us.
It was agreed in the delegate assembly to keep the laundry as an amenity. It's costing each unit owner 5
That's
to
true.
6 cents a month.
That's absolutely true, but it didn't mean that we're going to upgrade it to such an extent that it's now, no, it was agreed that we would spend the money that had accumulated from the first several years of its operation when it did make money, and there was approximately $11,000, fortunately earning 5%, so it was never used for the roads. Okay? It was used to refurbish the laundry, and now you're proposing another $4,600 on top of it. I want to understand why we need still more machines. The machines are busy right now. Wait until March, April, May, June, July, and the rest of the year. It will lose money. Check the historical figures, you will see it. The laundry is a loss. I don't see spending $4,600 more on that. Well, there's still more.
Okay.
I haven't had a chance to look here and see what it looks like for the Okeechobee Gate sign.
It's a reserve item?
Where
It's not a line item?
will I find it on here? Because this is a lot. The point I want to make on that sign, okay, this is not the Kravis Center. We do not need flashing lights, billboards running around advertising what's showing in our clubhouse, because the people who drive by have no access to the clubhouse theater anyway. We need a nice, responsible, mature sign that says this is Century Village, and $65,000 or $100,000 is an outrageous amount of money, and the people can't afford it. And I think that needs to be considered.
Please come to the beautification committee.
The beautification committee was very happy with $30,000 prior to this. For 2 years running, they were happy with $30,000,
Well,
Howard.
they're no longer happy with that.
Well, I don't know if they want the money so they can get flashing lights and neon signs.
There may be a sign over at 7-Eleven that we can use
A sign at 7-Eleven.
with the flashing lights. Can we go on to the next item you have?
I'll be back because I have to review the rest of this, so I'll be up here later.
I don't think so.
Yes, I think so. I don't see that you said I'm limited to one shot here. Okay, I did have a posting on the blog asking where is our money? Where is our money? What bank is it deposited in? What account? How much interest, if any, is it earning? What are the CDs if we have them for the reserve funds?
What
We
does
don't
that have to do
know.
with the budget?
It has to do with our money, and
It
until
has
I know
nothing to
how
do with
much
the budget.
money I have, I can't figure out how much money I can afford to spend.
Well, as a courtesy to you, I will tell you that it's all in two banks. It is in BB&T for the most part, and it is also in TD Bank.
I beg to differ, Howard. You may say it's in BB&T. I trust and hope that the 1 year I spent finding vehicles for our money for safe, insured investments is still where our money is, and it's being managed by BB&T, but it is not in BB&T.
You gave me entree to the BB&T Insured Cash Sweep System, which has been in effect now for probably 6 months, which pays us interest on a daily basis, and it's all FDIC insured. I have an article I got from the ICS Corporation, and you may have a copy.
No, I know what it is. I'm the one who found that product in order for us to invest our money, so
You're
you don't have to tell me.
You're absolutely
And our
right.
money should have been in it way more than 6 months, because it was in it before I left office.
No, it wasn't.
Absolutely it was in it, Howard. Don't tell me.
I signed all the forms.
Well, you had to sign forms because now you're the signator and I'm not.
No, everybody else had to sign the same form.
That's correct. Whenever there's a change of office, so you have to do
Well,
that.
Then I may be wrong.
I'm telling you, Barbara Cornish,
It was done before.
thank you.
Well, at the time of the end of the year, we had $22,300,000 in BB&T and $250,000 in TD Bank.
22 million?
$2,344,000 in BB&T and $250,000 in TD Bank.
Yeah, the TD Bank had the Wi-Fi money. It was also, should have been,
Infrastructure reserve money.
well, that's what you changed it to. It used to be called Wi-Fi money.
Used to be. Thank you, Dorothy. Sure, Dan, come on up.
Oh, come on.
Someone else's turn. My 5 minutes is up, but
Howard, I'd like to ask you a question.
Go ahead, Marilyn.
I would like to know what state you have your CPA license from.
Licensed in 1972 in the state of New York, and it's been in escrow since I moved to Florida.
And is it renewed every year? From what I understand, it is not.
You're correct. It says escrow. If I wanted to renew it, I'd have to pay money, and I don't need to pay.
So how can you say you're a CPA, an acting CPA right now?
Never said I was acting. I just said I have a CPA license.
You're not currently.
Well, you're not currently a CPA,
That's the way it
as you
goes.
intend to say.
That's the way it goes.
Not licensed.
Okay, Howard, this is a repeated question.
You want to talk about the general again?
Yeah, because let me
Self-insured.
just rephrase it maybe so the people here know what I'm talking about. Okay, you moved from designated contracted money, some of it substantial, from the designated account into the general, like security of transportation, and it's a big money into the reserves. In the Delegates Assembly, you said you cannot give an answer. Maybe you can give it now. Why was this happening? Why would you move from designated, let's say, transportation, when it was 4,000, you took 1,000 and you put it in the general? Why?
I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
When I started to do the analysis of the infrastructure reserves, I was coming up with a very large deficit that that UCO could not sustain. I approached David, and he said, okay, we can give up the Wi-Fi money, that'll help. We can do this, it'll help. I said, well, you have all these other monies earmarked for different projects, but they're not dedicated monies, they were earmarked monies. So I decided with consultation with the accountants that we will have a pooled reserve. And we took all the monies and closed all the bank accounts and put it into the operating account and the infrastructure reserve account at BB&T.
So just to understand, you had this, if it's $4,000 for transportation, not all of it goes to transportation?
Well, if you look at the detail on the budget, Dan, you'll see all of the items that go into transportation, the cost of transportation, the contract, the diesel fuel.
I'm looking at my budget of my
I
association.
have no idea what your association budget
Okay.
is about.
My association, according to your letter, my camp sent me your letter.
That is not what this meeting is about. This meeting is about the
It's a-
UCO budget.
Yeah, the budget, which I have to pay you, but I don't understand what I'm paying for. If it's designated, why you take it to the general if it's designated? That's what I want to know.
Well, it's no longer designated in 2015.
Okay.
I would like to make a general statement before I ask the question. I think that people here are very interested in what's in the budget, and they're very concerned about their money. We're not so concerned about getting it down to a tiny amount as we are what we are paying for and how we're paying it. So I think that being more responsive to their questions would be very nice.
I'll try to
Thank
be less
you.
abrupt.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's my New York attitude.
Well, all of us in New York, that's the first question I have is, what is under expense an anticipated revenue?
Last year, at the delegates meeting, I gave out a financial statement which showed that we had revenues of approximately $400,000 in excess of expenses. Based upon the IRS ruling, this money should be returned to the owners of the condominiums because we are a not-for-profit corporation. So in order to reduce the forward-going expenses for 2015 and 2016, I reduced those expenses by $400,000. The $400,000 represents a give back to each unit owner of approximately $1 a month.
Okay, and how is that accomplished? How are you giving that back? Where?
In the budget.
In the budget?
In the budget.
By reducing the amount that they would be paying?
I had $2.40 reduction in the budget from the 7108 last year.
Okay. The other question I have is, in the general category, you have an amount for utilities that's almost 3 times or more than 3 times what it was the year before.
Which budget are you looking at?
I'm looking at your breakdown under general that came in the packet for the delegate assembly.
Okay.
The 214 budget was 57,000, and it has gone up in this budget to 190,000. Somebody's leaving the lights on a long time, I think. It's under general and administration. Would you like to see my copy?
No, just give me the account number if you would, please.
It doesn't have an account number on it. It's the breakdown called general and administration.
I don't know where you got that. That's the old budget. Not today. That is by the boards. That's old. That's 3 weeks old. That budget failed. It's not no longer there.
So what is the amount now then?
What is the account number?
I don't have an account number on it. It's
600.
okay.
Page.
Barbara says 7,600. It's under utilities.
$15,000.
What is?
What are you looking at, Gene?
I'm looking at the 214 budget compared to the 215 budget under general and administration. This was the report that went in the delegate assembly packet.
Yes. In 2014, the budget was $57,100.
Right.
And the actual expense was $14,774.
Gene, the answer is Howard moved it back where it belongs. I can
I
see that.
incorrectly moved it out of security and put it into general, and the new revised budget that I'm presenting
Put it
now,
back where it
I
belongs.
have it back in security, so you can have the illuminated roadways.
Okay. So now it's down, okay, now, this is very confusing. Okay, so you reduced it to 15,000.
But if you would look at the new budget.
I did, but it doesn't have the breakdown, so that's why I'm looking at this one. Okay.
Gene, it does.
Okay, maybe I just haven't had enough time to go through every piece of it then. Okay. Let me see if there was another question I had. I think we went over most of them. Okay. I reserve the right to come back for my other couple of
Everybody
minutes
does.
if I... Thank you.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm going to admit that I'm an accounting dummy. On the budget highlights, you have reductions in transportation and reductions in security. How do you reduce something if we have contracts for both of these items? Was anything taken away that we're not aware of?
No.
So how do we reduce it? In other words, did you, let's say we had a contract, I'm just throwing away a number for $2 million. Did you put in the budget $2 million plus 200,000 in order to take it away?
No, I'm looking at transportation. Holger, I'm looking at transportation.
Right.
The budget last year for transportation contract was $880,000. We actually spent only $759,000. And this year I'm putting in $865,000 because I'm using the contract that I have in my drawer.
Okay, so basically you just previously just added money because you felt like adding money.
Pretty much.
Thank you very much. One quick thing. The new budget must be published and it cannot be voted on, is that correct? Until it's published.
By the delegates, yes.
Thank you.
But the committee's going to vote on it today. The finance
The
committee.
finance committee, but the delegates can't
Oh,
vote
no.
on it until it's
No,
published.
Oh, no. We're
Okay.
going to have an officers meeting.
Thank you.
Presentation, and we're going to have an executive meeting.
Thank you.
Presentation. Yeah.
Susan M. from Coventry Up. I have a question. A few speakers back, you made the comment that that you and David had a discussion about certain monies, and that you made a decision to do what you call pool those
In concert with
reserves.
the accountant.
Okay,
The accountant was not at the meeting that David and I passed in the hall and had.
okay. My
with
question
lights
for
on
you
and
is...
people around us. It was not a secret meeting.
Oh, I understand that. My question for you is, when we're creating our budgets for our own associations, in order to be able to pool our reserves, we have to vote to do that. Is that not something that has to be done by UCO?
I didn't see it in the bylaws.
Okay, so that's not something that UCO would have to do,
I don't see it in the bylaws.
but we have to do that in order to pool the
Your
reserves for our
bylaws are different.
associations.
Yes, David.
It's a 718 requirement, Florida statute on the association.
Morning, John.
My name is John Gluzak from Salisbury H. My name is John Gluzak from Salisbury H. Everybody got their specialties or whatever. Nobody's saying how to save some money for UCO, for the residents. We're talking about the laundry. The laundry is open to 10 o'clock at night. Myself, I found 3 guys going in there at 9:30 without a basket of clothes. All right, the laundry was rough. Why ain't that laundry closed at 7 o'clock at night like other people's laundry?
Excuse me, did you say the laundry was robbed?
That's what they said on the last meeting, didn't they?
No. We said that there was, looked like there was an attempt to burglarize the machines.
All right.
And I filed a police report for 2 weeks ago, and I haven't heard a word from the sheriff's department.
But what I'm trying to say is from 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night, you got 1,095 hours of electricity burning for some guys to hang out. I don't think that's right.
Were they residents of the village?
Whether they were residents or not, I'm not gonna go up, I'm not security to check everybody's thing.
Just a question.
And when I saw 3 guys, in there, I called up the number for security and their mailbox is full. So what do? Call 911? Yeah, you know, on everything. This is to try to save us money.
I understand.
All of us. And I wish you'd take that into consideration. Because other laundries around our associations, they close like 7 o'clock at night.
I know.
For the residents.
Thank you.
And I think you could save a couple bucks there.
Alan, I can't really get to the microphone, but can I answer that in part? I think everybody can hear me.
No, we don't. Can't hear a thing.
I just want to answer part of this, John. I remember when we were discussing keeping the laundry open because it was not making a profit. And one of the reasons that we kept it open that late was because we have people here that still work. And when they finish work, they must do their laundry, and that's why the laundry room is open until 10 o'clock. So these people can come in and do their laundry and take care of whatever business they have. You know, I understand what you're saying. We'd all like to save money, and we're all careful with it.
Keep it open 24 hours. That was the night shift.
A comment on laundry. Stratford and Plymouth have no laundry rooms, and they're right across the street for the laundry. That's why we kept the laundry open.
Morning, Ray.
Morning. I'd just like to get down to brass tacks. I'm from Canterbury A. My name is Ray. I've been to a beautification meeting or two, and I get the consensus that there's people in there with the idea we want to put something out there that's going to people to drive by and say, wow. You know, I want to say, wow, what a waste of money. You're talking like 6, 8, like $80,000 and somebody wants to put lights up. We don't need the lighting. We want to have people say, wow. So just to get down to brass tacks, we're here to pass a budget. And I think if you could sharpen your pencil, you could take a little from beautification, a little from the laundry, and maybe a little bit from the infrastructure reserve and get down under, you know, under $2, and our association would probably vote for that.
Thank you. I reduced beautification rate from 65,000 to 14. At your suggestion. Any other questions, please?
Again, this question keeps coming again. Can we vote by items than general? Because what happens if there's one item that can kill the whole thing, and it could be even minor, like the signs, for instance. So is there any way that we can do something and people don't like a certain thing, just surface it and deal with it separately?
And the budget is voted for in total, not by line item.
There's no way other way?
We'd have to change the bylaw, or create a bylaw. Hurry up, it's the gyrations.
Okay, I'm back. My questions right now have to do with the transportation contract. You have some actual figures here for 2014. My question to you, Howard, is, I know that usually the final bill for 2014 is not received until just about now, and the expense is amortized back, paid in 15, but charged to 14. There's no way that I can imagine that this figure is this wrong for last year, in which case your figure for this year, 2015, may not be with a sufficient increase.
I'll take a look at it.
Please, because
you're right, there's some bills that have not been...
They have not been posted in here yet. Yes, that's right. So therefore, these people don't know that. I know that because I know what I used to have to do.
Absolutely.
And I believe you will find that that is not inclusive of the entire year. The fuel that you paid as well, because you don't have the bills, or maybe you're just about getting them now.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That may affect your next calculation because you've got to put the increase in, the contractual increase.
Perhaps.
Which would, oh, perhaps, okay.
Because it's not the budget number, you know, it's whatever.
That number was calculated almost to the penny because I knew exactly what it was supposed to be.
Okay.
It's a contracted number. There's no ifs, ands, and buts, just like the cable. It is what it is.
The guy in the peach-colored shirt. Thank you. Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Howard. My question comes up on the roadway. I mean, 15 years prior...
You want to talk about the infrastructure
reserve, yeah,
of $700,000, of which the roadway is a part.
Yeah, I'm looking at here where we're talking $1 million a year you're putting away.
Well, we're not putting it away yet.
Yeah, okay. So my question then fits in, where originally the roadway cost $1.5 million, $2 million.
When?
Oh, 15 years ago, 17 years ago.
Yeah, I bought a new car 15 years ago for $10,000.
It's worth about $2,000 now. But anyhow, looking at it with the way things have gone, how inflation has been, everything else, and well, gasoline, of course, is going up and down. That's a ludicrous call for 15 years from now, or let's say 13.
Or less.
Yeah. Well, this roadway won't last. That's for sure.
Well, I don't know. I'm not a professional engineer.
Well, I know enough to know.
My research on the internet suggests a 1 mile new road installed, flat, level, no obstacles, no rocks to be moved. It's going to be approximately $2 million for 1 mile.
I know. You're right.
And we have 2 mile circular drive and we have miles and miles to go in and out of the village associations areas. I don't know what it would cost.
Well,
You're using 15. You want to use $10 million?
on that, 10 would be a lot better.
It used to be 10, Jerry.
No, wait a minute, Howard.
That
Look,
was too much.
when you're going from Department of Highways, their figures on a professionally installed road, using the right grade of material, milling and everything else. We got neither of that. And that's from engineers. Now, today, that cost should be reduced a lot in the budget.
Well, maybe you'll become part of the infrastructure committee, Jerry, to get the 2 cents in there.
Yeah, they'll never let me on. That's sure.
The reserve infrastructure for this year coming is $700,000.
You're not giving me
and I'm not, that's the number that I put out there in September. I'm not changing my number.
All right.
Now, wait a minute, if anything, when the reserve was $10,000, I had a 20-year life on the road. That was incredible too. So after discussion with people that are knowledgeable about it, looking at the road conditions, listening to you speak and other people speak about the roads, I said, hey, 10 years, 15 years, right. So it's whatever it is, it is.
Yeah, well,
if you think it should be shorter, the reserve has to go up. If you think it should be longer, maybe the reserve go down, maybe the cost of construction will change. Don't know.
Well, the basic cost you have here is the asphalt. If oil stays low, which the chances are it will, being that we're the biggest producer in the world now.
The cost of oil will be offset by the increases in labor.
Maybe. Labor has been going down, the cost of labor hasn't moved.
Well,
it will eventually, given that, but the thing is, the materials themselves will go down or stay stagnant what they are today.
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay, you're quite welcome.
I don't know much about accounting, but I just wanted, maybe you could clarify something. Under security, 7,300, thank you. There's utilities, 124,000. Now, I know it's under security. Is that for the guard houses? On the page here, 7,300, look at security. It says contract, fuel, and then utilities. Utilities are $124,000.
Yes.
And I just want to know, is that for the guard houses?
Partially, and for all of the lights around the perimeter road.
Oh, that's what I wanted to know, perimeter road and the guard houses, am I correct? Thank you.
Yeah. But for the guard houses, it's a lot of money.
Will there be any other questions or comments?
Good morning again. As I've had a little chance to review what was presented, and after Jerry just made his comment, I'd like to remind Howard, David Israel, anybody else who was around when the roadway was done. At that time, there was an engineering report, which I believe Yuko hired Simmons and White. That report clearly stated that we did not have to do the roadways at once, and that they recommended that we could do it over a 3-year, don't make a noise, David. Keep quiet. And this is the budget. This is the budget.
What does the roadways have to do with the budget?
The $700,000 reserve. It's a pretty big number.
It's not all for the roadway.
Wait a second. What is it? It says infrastructure. Now, the report that was issued by Simmons and White, what? You're out of order, David. Out of order again. I'm going to ask you to leave the third time. Call the guards. The report covered not only the roadway,
I feel usurped.
right, the report not only covered the roadway, it covered the drainage. And it said, do the drainage first, then do the roadways. That report cost us $25,000. Subsequent to the start of the roads, prior to even the finishing of the first large section, Yugo paid approximately $5,000 to Simmons and White to do a review of the work. In that report, they said the roadways are coming in above average. That was in the report. Now we're sitting here and saying, those roads aren't any good. We have to do them over. Mr. Israel, in another meeting, said, I walked the sidewalks and we got to do more. Now, you went to a simple calculation. Anybody could do it. And you came up with $15 million. I believe you may be right, but I don't know, and you don't know, because you didn't have an engineer come in and assess it. The last engineering report said it's terrific. Mr. Israel even said it was terrific. Now, just about 3 years after that report was issued, we're saying the work isn't done. We have an overstatement on, I believe, and if you believe I'm wrong, I'm very happy about it, that we now have to put 3 times turn that off. Turn that off. You are not in order. The next thing I'd like to bring to your attention, I believe you just said 400,000 equals $1 per unit. Am I correct?
Per month.
Per month. I beg to differ with you. Every 100,000 equals $1 per month per unit. So it's $4 per month per unit, not 1. Am I right?
You are right, 424.
Oh, so why did you say $1?
I misspoke.
Well, this whole budget is misspoke. Let's go down some of the items.
Ed, I think you had more than enough time at the end.
I don't think so. I think you took my time away by playing that, and I think that was terribly rude, and you were out of order.
Right, absolutely.
Ed, why don't you save your comments and come to the next meeting, at the officers' meeting next week?
Listen.
Ed, hold on a minute.
I want to respond to that.
You will, hold on. This meeting is to notify the residents about what's going on. You don't have to shut him up because he's bringing out points that are important. If you make a mistake and he catches it, it's good for the residents to find out what's going on. It's our money, Howard, and you shouldn't put a time limit on anybody giving any sort of information regarding the budget.
That's right.
I want to bring to everybody's attention that we had over 50 residents at that meeting who signed a request, and I have it here, to have, not against the budget, to aid Yuko and Howard in correcting the budget.
Excuse me, Ed.
Let me finish.
Excuse me.
Who said no? You're out of order. You're out of order.
Hey, Ed. The video that I just showed was from the budget meeting held in August. It wasn't your messenger meeting.
Whatever it was out of order.
Hey, it's my meeting, Ed.
That's not your meeting, it's our meeting.
This is the Finance Committee meeting.
Well, the Finance Committee was way offline on voting for the Wi-Fi. The Finance Committee was not marginally offline. We prevailed by 22 votes to turn down the budget, and Mr. Israel responds to a request by plus 50 unit owners to have myself, Dorothy, and George aid in this presentation, was answered incorrectly as he usually does. So, yes, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to say this. My meeting is on the 27th. If you guys can't respond, I believe we're going to turn it down again.
Thank you. I would now like to call for a motion to vote for the budget as presented to you today, for a $2.40 reduction from the 2014 budget. The Finance Committee will vote on that. Yes, ma'am.
I make the motion that we accept this budget as written.
I second the motion. All in favor? Carried. The meeting is adjourned. If anybody has additional comments, please come to the officers' meeting next week, where the budget will be presented to them. Thank you.
It's the delegates that vote on it, not anybody.